irrigation system. In September is sunflowers. And for November, I'll hang up that quilt that you really like, the Bargello with the collars that go all over.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That goes up for fall. And then day after Thanksgiving, I put up Christmas.
Of course.
So.
Well, very classy to wait until after Thanksgiving.
So that's that belonged to my grandmother. It was given to her for a wedding gift when she got married. So it's over 100 years old. Luckily, in all the moves, the curved glass has not been broken. I don't know if that would be very difficult to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a picture of them at their wedding up on top of it.
Oh, on the left?
Yes, on the left. Parents.
Mother's parents, right?
And the next picture, the little one in the middle, is their children. My mother is on the far right.
Hmm.
And these?
Well, in the middle is my mother and stepfather on their wedding day. Upper right is my father in front of one of those King Cobras that he ferried to Fairbanks for the Soviet pilots to come and get.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
And on the upper left is my cousins and me and my brother at the duck pond. That was a favorite place of ours to go to swim and to picnic. My grandfather made that raft. My favorite books on it. See on the top shelf the log cabin syrup. Connie made that for me, or you guys made that for me a long time ago. And the candles there that have the flowers on them, that came from you guys.
Yeah.
That far left lamp is a genuine antique. Now the other two lamps are Aladdin lamps and they're modern. The little abalone lamp belonged to my parents too. So. Okay, where can I stand?
Perfect, like that.
Okay, these things came from Saudi Arabia. This is part of the Hijaz Railroad that's Lawrence of Arabia blew up, and I went to one of the places there that we could see it. It had a building that's still there in stone, but lots of them laying all over the ground. And so this, I think they unscrewed it, and the rail was held down with this like that. And this is a railroad spike, and I found that in Saudi Arabia too. And this is an old square nail that was in a ruins in Saudi Arabia. This is a hand-forged square nail, and it had just fallen to the ground. This building was disintegrating. So those are.
Careful, nobody thought you were stealing.
Those are some to her too. Fine.
Go there, stay.
So how long did it take you to accumulate all these fabric scraps around?
Well, years and years and years. Yeah, I have a lot of fun here.
That's good.
This is a good place for me.
Yeah.
This sewing machine over here is the one I spend most of my time on. It's just a straight stitcher. And it goes super fast.
Okay.
And so it doesn't zigzag, it doesn't do anything but so straight. And this is where I do all my piecing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have that sewing machine set up because it's a zigzag. And it has a quilting foot on it so that I can put binding on and I quilt on it. And I can zigzag on it. So it has a lot of different stitches.
Gotcha.
So, and this is a light table that I use to trace my designs. This is something that I'm working on right now.
A 3-parter, right? Or a 2-parter?
3. There's another, after I finish this, there's another row that goes on the bottom.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I thought your mom might like it. I'm hoping it would fit in the entryway in her house.
Well, now we can't show Mom this video because she'll see her Christmas gift.
Oh, see?
Yeah. Good strategy, Grandma.
So this keeps me off the bars and out of the bars and off the streets. So yeah, I get a lot of pleasure out of what I do there.
Cool.
And there's a couple in the bathroom. Did you see those?
Yeah. How do you know they're Japanese?
Because that's what the Japanese use to keep their fishing nets up, and they would break away and come with the current, and they would find them. I think that was taken at Monterey because see the boats in the background? You can see the boats. From when I was just little, my father was always going to see sailboats. He always wanted a sailboat, and he finally did get one. That picture is my brother and my father and my brother's son and his son. So that's 4 generations of Browns there. And that little baby is all grown up and running Tom's business.
Kind of looks like Haas from Bonanza.
It doesn't he though? Yeah. And that was taken at Pioneer Day in Paso Robles. Every year, the town I was born in has a celebration called Pioneer Day, and they have a big parade. Then they have a picnic in the park, and the town cooks beans, and for free. Everybody has some. California pink beans, of course.
Which one's Grandpa Brown?
Right here. This is him. So there were four boys and 4 girls. Born in Willits, California. And so was he. Yeah, that's great-grandmother Jones. Her maiden name was Whitted, W-H-I-T-E-D. When Kirk and I went to Indiana, we found some of her ancestors, and we found where they were buried. We went to the cemetery and found where some of her ancestors were buried in Indiana, her grandfather. And then they immigrated to Clear Lake, Northern California. So that's, and you know those people.
Mm-hmm.
And who are those?
This is Mark and Kurt, my sons.
Oh.
This is my favorite picture of them. Yeah. We didn't have enough money to have studio photos made very often. And that was about the only one that I had. This picture here was taken about 1902. This is my grandmother, my father's mother. And this is her mother back here. She's the lady I was telling you about that was widowed so young and never remarried and ran a ranch and a dairy and became very, very well off. And she made speeches for women's votes. And so this is their extended family gathered. gathered for a family reunion. in Paso Robles. Picture, but I can talk. This is came from my mother. It's really, really old, made in Germany. This was my great grandmother's sewing basket. But this is my grandmother's treadle. Very old. I took the head to a antique. My mother had the cabinet refinished. The biggest one out on the porch.
And those are real ones?
Oh, absolutely. They came from the rock there.
Indian grinding stone.
Indian grinding stones. They would grind the acorns down there where I came from. It was oak trees, and so they would grind acorns, and they were toxic. But then they'd have to leach the flour with water to make them edible.
Wow.
So they'd make cakes, you know, and put them on a hot stone and cook them that way.
Cool.
Out in the sun, it would turn purple.
Yeah. And you were telling us these green pieces were
Depression ware. It's called depression glass, and it was handed out for free during the Depression when you went to a movie, or in a box of oatmeal or detergent, and it was. You can buy it's collectibles now. You have to pay some good money for some of this, although I've never bought any, because all of this green came from my grandmother, and the pink too, and the yellow was given to me by a friend because she knew I loved it and she wanted to get rid of it. But this piece right here, my brother gave to me from King City Soda Works. It says right on here, King City Soda Works. He had two, and so he gave me one. That is artificial coloring. But in those days, every city, every small town had their own soda works that they would bottle soda, sarsaparilla. I don't know what kind was in here, but you can see the little king here with the crown. So King City. I thought that was really neat.
It is.
Eddie and we went down there. We bought that in Tijuana. I've had that a long time. The one on the top came from Belgium, I think during World War I. Mother, who we called Nana, Ruby Jones was her name, and crocheting. Even into her 80s, she says, if I don't keep crocheting, my hands won't work anymore. So she did that. I have a lot of her work. She embroidered and crocheted, and she did a lot of nice things.
That's very impressive.
I'm so glad to have it. So this picture has quite a history. It came with the very first refrigerator we had. I remember I was a little girl at the time, but I remember when they delivered it, and it came with a pitcher and a casserole dish, which I still have. It was really something to get a refrigerator, because up till then we had just an ice box. My father was an ice man and delivered ice, but this was really something to get that refrigerator. This was my mother's, and it's really old. I don't know anything about it. And this picture is really very old too. But these two, Old Kirk. You know, Kirk is our family name, and Old Kirk was a whiskey made in San Francisco. And the last time I saw these in an antique store, they were $20 a piece. And my brother got angry because I didn't buy it, because he would have bought it. I have 2, and I think he has 2. Oh, look. A&W root beer.
That's an old one.
It is, and this is what they would give you when you had kids with you, was free root beer. And I'm sorry to say we absconded with the little mug. This is from Ireland, and I don't know how I acquired it. Did you give it to me? It's Tyrone Crystal, Ireland. So, this is that set of dishes that I told you that I wanted to give you. It's got English castles on it. Chatsworth, 1792.
Wow.
Whole set of dishes like that. That's what I made those placemats to go with. Yeah. This I changed this quilt seasonally. I brought those animals from Africa. My father brought this from Mexico. He watched a man paint that, and he was just taken with the cleverness of it. He put all those different colors on one brush and paint it like that with one swipe of his brush. So this is a Native American basket from down my area, southern Monterey County. Although it looks a lot like Arizona, but I think a lot of the Indians had similar designs. And I says, "Don't you tell me you can't have it done by the time by last week in August." He had it done by the middle of August, which was great.
Well, we enjoyed every inch.
I made that doll.
Yeah?
I don't. It's the only doll I ever made. I'm just not really into that. That's supposed to be Betsy Ross. She used to have a flag. This is one of my favorite pictures of the. I rode that camel around the pyramids down to the Sphinx, and when I got off and the camel driver was going to take a picture. Evidently, he's got a signal or something said to the camel, and the camel reached over and kissed me on the cheek. Oh. So, that was a fun trip. Really a fun trip. We took several tours and went down inside one of the pyramids. Oh, talk about claustrophobia. Oh. But there was no way. You were in a narrow passageway going down steep wooden steps, and in front of you people, in back of you people, and curved like this. You know, and then you got down to a big empty room, and then the guide made another pitch for money. You know, when you were down there. It was like he wasn't going to let you out. The quilt is called America the Beautiful, and I have Matt's name on the label. So it would go on a bed if you wanted it to, but I had a lot of fun making this quilt. putting all the finishing touches on the bushes and the kids in the window and the cows in the barn, and this was a fun quilt to make. And my friend quilted it. She did a magnificent job.
And the baby things?
Oh, the baby things, those will go to Reno for the shower. Yes, be fun. So, oh, here, give this to your mom.
Yeah?
Give
Now?
that to your mom.
I'm hanging with Grandma.
Yes, you are, aren't you? Boys, up here is my father's sailboat with my brother and his wife, and that's my father and Tom. And that's Kirk on the tractor with my stepfather. Oh, and this picture is Mark with my mother. She had taken him to church, and they just came back, and he's showing off his lesson. There's that rocking horse at the boat. Are of my Kirk ancestors, my mother's grandparents. They were both Irish. She was right straight from Ireland, and he was from Canada by way of a couple generations later. His grandfather came from Ireland. So I'm very happy to have these pictures. They hung in my brother's house for a long time, even though they belonged to me. And just recently, I brought them home. This table over here is quarter sawn oak, and it is very, very old. There's even a burn place on the side of one of the legs, like it got too close to the fireplace or something. But that's been in the family for probably 4 generations.
And this is
That's
on the
my
photo?
mother and my stepfather, Marjorie and Frank Gillette. He was a farmer and a judge. In his later life, he was a judge. He was the nicest stepfather I could have ever hoped for. Really a great guy. So, this furniture here belonged to my mother. This is called a man's shiffer robe, and because of the mirror on it, so he could shave from there probably, but that's a man's dresser.
Should we chronicle your
Kirk gave me this map, and I just love it. It's so much fun to put pins in there. I've been in all 50 states and 15 foreign countries, so that's pretty good. I just wish I'd started sooner.
Doing pretty well, Graham?
Yes, I think so. I really do. Did a lot of traveling when I lived in Saudi Arabia. I got to see a lot that I probably wouldn't have. Our first trip was to Kenya. You guys, if you ever have a chance, you must go to Africa to see the animals. Kenya was wonderful. The people there were fantastic. Everybody spoke English because it was an English colony at one time.
Teared up.
One more hug.